All right, everybody, welcome to D&D Civil War, A Realm Awakened, session number 7, Rise of the Warforged. Are you guys ready?
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about what happened last session. First, you decided instead of venturing around the city, you would hang out at the Broken Root Inn and kind of witness the rest of the show that these bars were performing and putting together for you. You made a few keen observations, noting a few things that felt a bit wrong about their performances, even stuff such as Vivien talking to the woman who was playing her mother, Avalana, and informing her to act a little more like her. All in all, they were pretty thankful and appreciative of the feedback that you were giving them. You sat in and watched the rest of the show. Though it was a bit inaccurate at times, it was still very entertaining for the visitors, and everybody went home pretty happy with the performance. As the night went on, everybody went their separate ways, the sisters making their way to the Starlight Temple, where they would find that their mother was not actually there. Would come home to an empty chamber. Vivien, I believe, had decided to join them for a bit of a girls' night, and because she really had nowhere else to stay for the evening.
Gjest, I think that was.
Oh, it was Gjest, that's right. Vivien made her way back to Ashkala's place because Ashkala had a really nice setup for her to go to. That's what it was. It was here that, with Gjest and the two sisters together, it was here that Circe would sit down and write a note to her father, telling him about her interactions with Kai Gladamain and then sending it off first thing in the morning. Celeste and Vivien went their separate ways as well, also making their way, or both of them making their way to Sheveri. Both getting
Ashkala has no idea what she's doing.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. And Celeste, as she had walked in to make her way to her room, she was greeted by her mother, who was awaiting her return, who seemed a bit unhappy with the group's actions on the SLR earlier in the morning. Freddie, in turn, went back to Fort Eltan, where he would rest very quietly within his chambers before setting back off in the morning. As the party would awaken and everybody regrouped and got back on the SLR, they would make their way over towards the Selavash Ward to pay a visit to the docks. As they stepped off the SLR, a small boy would catch Vivien not paying any attention to her coin purse and would steal it and then take off running into the crowd. The party would give chase, with Celeste leading the way, but all of them were unable to catch the boy. That was until he ran straight into a Warforged who was standing at the dock. The party checked the boy, made sure he was okay. He mostly seemed frightened, then looked over to the Warforged and noticed the glimmer of what is essentially the essence of the construct was oddly missing from this Warforged that was standing at the dock. A quick glance and they noticed this one wasn't the only one. Instead, thousands of Warforged had lined the docks, all in this standby mode, as it were. A bit confused, the party would make their way north, finding one Warforged who was moving and talking. He spoke of the dilemmas that their people faced and how they deserved better pay and better considerations from their leaders. However, when the party attempted to speak with him, he wasn't very forthcoming with information and kind of brushed them off for the most part. The party would keep searching and would look to find some form of leadership, and they would find it in Joseph Vernala, the Dockmaster of the ward itself. He seemed very dismissive of the party, telling them he knows how to manage his own dock and pointing out the thousands of newly hired humanoids that are now filling the roles that the Warforged have been abandoning, from their posts. However, when they mentioned that Sarge, the speaker of the Warforged, was on the dock protesting, he got concerned and immediately rushed down to the dock, where he would find nothing at all. They would look around, unable to find him, and Freddy would turn to the little boy, who he learned didn't really have a name, and asked him, if he had seen where Sarge had went to. The boy, unknowing of what happened to him, kind of shrugged and promised that if he found them, he would come back and let them know. But then a few more words from the Dockmaster, a couple of reprimands, and he would finally turn and begin to leave from the group. It was here that Vivien would get ideas in her head, namely pulling a dagger, showing a little bit of aggression, but was quickly talked out of all of this before Gjest would turn around and walk up, trying to put all of her weight against one of the Warforged. It didn't move. It stayed right where it was standing, and feeling a bit frustrated, she would just shout, "Just wake up," to which it would oblige, heel turning in place, facing directly towards the city, which is where tonight's session starts. So let's take you... Where do you guys want to go? Cleto map. Let's take you here. So you're still on the docks here, and I need to fix my camera for everybody. Still sitting on the docks, and I hate that I don't have any tab here. So Gjest leaning in, putting all of her weight into this Warforged, trying to get it to awaken. Nothing happening, and then finally shouting out, "Just wake up." And with a heavy thud and a turn, the Warforged all along the Selavash Ward docks now turned and faced towards the city, which obviously caused quite a bit of a stir amongst all of the people here.
Gjest, what did you do?
I've summoned them.
In this almost bit of solidarity, as all of them turn around all at once, instantly that glimmer of essence disappears from them once again. They fall dormant, now standing, facing and looking in the direction of the city. This action caused a ripple effect all the way down the dock, with all of them reacting, and immediately got the attention of the Dockmaster, who stops in his tracks and immediately turns on his heel and rushes back over to the party, noticing Jess kind of backing away a little bit from the Warforged that she was attempting to get the attention of. He runs up and immediately just begins shouting, "Why can't you leave things alone that don't concern you? I've already told you, speak to House Lorandar. They are the Windrights. They are the ones in charge here. What good is instigating these Forged going to do you?"
Why shouldn't they wake up?
What? Are you mad? Do you want a revolution? Do you want blood on your hands, little girl?
I mean, if anything, maybe they'll go back to work. Let's think of this as a positive note.
He looks over the Warforged that you had just leaned up against, tapping on its chest. Completely inactive, and he looks back at you and says, "Well, I don't think they're going to be going to work anytime today, now are they?"
Well, not with that sassy attitude. I wouldn't wake up either.
He looks at you and you could tell he's like boiling over with anger at this point, and he just angrily just go speak to the Lorandar. I'm done with you. Get off of my dock. I don't have time for any more disturbances. and immediately starts turning around and walking off.
Just will wave.
When that ripple effect happened, could I, does it originate from, the particular Warforged that Gjest was shouting at, or did it originate from somewhere else?
You kind of get the sense as you watched all of them turn. It started with the one that was being interacted with, possibly just by coincidence, or possibly as if something kind of waved over them, and all at once they got this same sensation to do it. It just took a little while for it to catch to the end. But there's thousands of Warforged standing here, so it's going to take a little while. Right,
but it was like a domino effect that originated from that particular one.
It was mostly like within a second or so, from one end is all the way down as far as you could see, with it all happening at once.
Also, it was almost instantaneous.
Yeah, you just watching the scene, though, you could just kind of turn your head and notice that they were all still turning the further down it went.
So I was wondering, if there was a source of it, where that source was, because I was going to go check it out to see if there was a particular one that stayed.
Your best guess would have been from the location you were standing at.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to stay here with them since they seem to react to me.
Well, that's certainly something. Not anything useful, but it was something.
I mean, at least we know they can react to things.
It's not like they're dead, they're just sleeping? I have no idea how Warforged worked, honestly, how they work, honestly.
Well, seeing as we're no longer welcome at the dock, should we go to that house, whatever they're called?
Yes, I think we should go talk to whoever's actually in charge. No sense in instigating pointless drama with the people we're supposed to be helping.
Okay. Based on your knowledge of the city, most of you being here for a while, you know that off to the north, there are two kind of slivers of islands. Each one, the property or the island dedicated to the two houses, the two dragon-marked houses that make up this ward, with House Orin and House Lorandar, one on each island. The kind of public affairs of all Lorandar business resides on this northern island. It takes a while to get up there, obviously. This is several hundred miles here. Or several miles. So, 2 miles there of walking? It takes a while to get there. Quite a few hours. But as you get there, you're able to reach where basically these bridges that connect these two islands to the main part of the city of Kalido.
Actually, if I may interrupt, before we get there, the Sentinel, the person I'm supposed to talk to for the bolstering, of course, that's kind of on the way.
No, Sentinel North is over here, and that's the location you're going to, is the end of the blue line here.
Oh, okay. I was thinking it was number 8, not 8.
Number 8 should be the trade ward. Yeah.
Right, I just got my numbers mixed up.
Yep, 18 is Sentinel. Yeah, so if you guys are heading up in that direction, and I'll leave that up to you, But if you would like to head up that direction, I can give you a breakdown of kind of what you see and everything like that. Or if you want to head somewhere else, you are welcome to do that as well.
I think we're going there.
Yeah, sounds like we're going there.
Okay.
Were we all going there, or was someone staying behind?
I mean, we all got kicked out, so...
Yeah, you were not so politely asked to leave the docks.
Gjest is nearby the docks.
So Jess is going to kind of roam around and watch at the docks.
I'll stick with Gjest because I wanted to see if the one kid gets back or not.
Okay. So we'll do this. Drop these 2 tokens here. Place you guys on the map here, and the rest of the party heading north. As you guys make your way north, you go beyond the sights and sound of the most active portion of the ward here, and into an area where many of the workers and laborers and the common folk would consider their homes. Small shanties and kind of lean-to buildings are assembled in this area by some of the more impoverished people, while many of the dock workers find themselves in kind of small, comfortable homes within this region. Several small bridges span this canal that goes between the 2 islands and the mainland, reaching out to island of Loran, which is where you currently stand in front of, where you will find a small but quite equitable group of commercial buildings within this island. The island is bustling and the flow of traffic is really heavy through here. Lots of commerce, people flocking to and from the island to interact with many of these really high-tier and high-profile kind of shops that reside in the region. The island itself was purchased outright by House Lorandar for their own purposes. Unlike in Corvair, the dragon-marked houses here have far more opportunities thanks to the Cortheatics not really controlling them here. So they find the Living Isles to be a little more prosperous to them. Owning their own land here has obviously proven very vital to their successes, given them a little more financial freedom to explore, gaining new means of revenue, or to pour that money into their own ward. For the most part, this is believed to have been almost like a sales pitch by the Gladiman.
Joy of land ownership.
Yeah. Looking to the benefit of the Gladiman, looking to benefit from the knowledge and power that the dragon-marked houses had, and bringing them into the city and watching it flourish. Alistair de Lorandar, the high-ranking official of the high-ranking official of the House of Storm and leader of the Windwrights Guild here in Kalido, was responsible for this purchase 17 years ago when they agreed to
we
pay
lose
their
him?
people. No, I'm here.
Oh, you said
cut out after
house
house.
and then cut off.
Oh, he's the high-ranking officer of the House of Storm, or House Lorandar, and the current leader of the Windwrights Guild here in Kalido. He was responsible for the purchase of this land 17 years ago when agreeing to bring his people here, along with their technology. He was set to task as the leader of their Kalido branch by their Baron, Baron Estravash de Lorandar of Corvair, after a number of successful years navigating the Golden Dragon across Eberron. The dragon-marked house resides to the far west of this island, tucked away behind a very large field of grass that separates the house from the commercial district of the island. To reach the outer gates, or as you reach the outer gates of this very massive 10-story building that overlooks the trackless sea, you're greeted by these kind of wrought iron gates that remain in like an open position, allowing people to pass through. And though you do take notice, there are tons of guards walking around on campus here. The Lorandar Manor is very imposing, towering much higher than almost every building in the Selavash Ward. It's made of a very light gray sandstone with very wide blue steel supports and these pristine glass windows. The building seems almost blend in with the sea itself, kind of reflecting off the sea, or the sea reflecting off the glass and giving almost like a mirage feeling as you look at it. As you walk in and enter into the tower, you're greeted immediately by a young half-elf girl, probably no more than 15 years old. She carries herself almost as an
will
adult.
wave politely.
She greets you like a very proper kind of wave. Even though there are tons of visitors here, she doesn't even seem to care. She remains composed, always greeting everybody with a smile and helping and giving everybody directions they need. As soon as you walk in, she sees you and she kind of greets you with that small little wave and smile. She walks over and says, "Welcome to Lorandar Manor. I am Lorena. How may I assist you?"
We're here on behalf of the council investigating the Warforged riots. We were directed to come speak to you, or at least your house.
As you say that, her eyes grow really, really big, and she says, "Wait, riots? There are riots out there?"
Protest is probably a better word.
She
And moving slightly isn't really a riot, despite some efforts.
She takes a big, deep sigh. "Okay, all right. So let me start this again. You're part of the council. Let's go upstairs. I think I know who you are wanting to meet." And she immediately turns and heads towards the back of this room. You see a very large stairway, probably about 20 feet wide, and it splits off, going both left and right as you get to the top of it. She quickly makes her way up the stair and continues up, going up about 4 floors. You continue to follow her. Seems to be moving pretty intently. She gets to the end of this hallway on the 4th floor. You look forward and you see these 2 very large double doors at the end of the hall. She starts walking up, gives it a couple seconds, and knocks on the door. And almost as soon as she knocks, you hear, "Yes, Lorena? Captain? You have some visitors from the committee?" And kind of looks back at you.
I'm gonna push Celeste forward.
"Hello? Guys, are you there?"
Yes, we are the committee.
What committee was it? I'm sorry, I should have asked that.
And Calypso gives off their official title, and that they're here on behalf of the Gladamanes to look into the Warforged protests.
As you start to ramble off the title, the Festival Negotiation Committee, she stops and immediately gets ready to turn back around, and before she can even say anything, The double doors fling wide open with like a loud thud as they swing all the way back. From behind the door, you see a very thin and very tall half-elf man kind of step forward. His attire is that of like a captain's uniform. It's made of very kind of beautiful blue and silver fabrics and has a very long sky blue cloak that kind of drapes off of his shoulders and down to like the back of his knees. He's young for a half-elf. Has kind of short blonde hair that almost naturally kind of lays back on his head. As you walk up, you see him. He rests his hand down on the sheath of his weapon that rests on his hip and kind of gives you this very inviting and kind of warm smile. Something about him. He's really kind of indescribable. Almost a flash of charm that kind of makes everybody feel a bit in a better mood when they're around him. As soon as he sees you, he immediately, yes, come in, friends, please, come in, have a seat. As he kind of greets you and motions you in, and looks back into the chamber, you see this very massive table in the center of the room. This table has tons of maps across it. Maps of Eberron and Toril and various cities and islands and everything scattered all across the tabletop. Upon the edges of this table, kind of carved out in common, is the Oath of Lorandar. Sovereigns and firstborns, grant me the 4 blessings promised to our people.
Get out again.
Really? What part cut out?
In common, then nothing.
It was the Oath of Lorandar, and it says, sovereigns and firstborn, grant me the 4 blessings promised to our people. Dominion over the air, dominion over the water, fortune for my family, fortune for my future.
Fortune.
Change something. I'm pushed to talk with you guys, and it's never been a problem before. Maybe the mic's not working, or the mouse isn't working right. One sec. Let's move. Here. Okay. Test? Okay, it's working. Fortune for my family and fortune for my future. I'll copy and paste. It's very distracting that it's not working. Tall and kind of narrow chairs flank the table, all made of very dark wood that are kind of formed to resemble like tentacles of a kraken. Holding, kind of hold the person seated with the tentacles kind of bent to form into a chair. And on the back of them, the crest of the dragon-marked house. As you walk in, he immediately waves and motions for you to come and have a seat. And kind of looks around at everybody and says, well, very well, tell me, what is it that you're here for?
The Warforged protests at the docks. We're here investigating the cause of it, and we were directed to speak to you about what is going on.
Kind of stops and looks around, clearing his throat a bit. I see. Yeah, it's quite interesting. I've been getting kind of reports from my men out there saying that the Warforged aren't cooperating. We had to hire a bunch of new individuals. I thought that would be enough to take care of it, but I guess you're telling me that it's not?
It would seem there's more at hand than a mere protest.
We
Dockmaster.
Sorry.
The Dockmaster seems clueless as to what is happening within his domain, and there also seems to be an outside force rabble-rousing.
An outside force, you say? That's troublesome.
A Warforged unaffiliated with the Docks seems to be the cause of instigating these issues. The Dockmaster, your Joseph Vernala, seems to have had no idea that this individual was the one stirring up your proverbial hornet's nest.
He kind of nods and says, well, I mean, I could understand him not knowing exactly who is on the dock at what moments. We did have to hire several new Warforged and humanoids to work in preparation for this event, after all.
You have actual Warforged working against their own kind?
Well, you see, that's quite the interesting part now, isn't it? You see, I begin to notice some issues with our Warforged. I'm sure you saw it, the standby mode, as some people are calling it.
Yes.
You see, I initially believed that it was a failure with the constructs. Perhaps undue stress from influx workload, but it became more frequent. It wasn't just one, but it was all of them. Very odd, very strange mannerisms for a Warforged, wouldn't you think?
It would seem they're trying to make a statement.
Make a statement in
several
what way?
Several of them reacted to stimuli before we came here, but they resumed their stationary positioning. So it does not seem to be an error of sorts, but something deliberate. If the rabble-rouser is to be believed for altruism, he is trying to garner them fair representation and wages for the time and effort they put in that far exceed normal humanoid ability.
As you begin to mention the pay and the treatment of the Warforged, he kind of looks at you and kind of tilts his head a little bit and says,
She'll immediately put her hands up and say, I'm not here to speak on behalf of the Warforged or how you pay them. I'm merely relaying my findings and on behalf of the council looking to ease this situation as best we can help mediate. I'm not going to tell you how to run the docks or how to run the workers. We're just concerned that creatures designed for war, if they decide to take their protests into riots, might become something more dangerous.
He kind of nods and raises his hand and says, I understand your concern, but perhaps it would be better if you understood the Warforged and what we do for them here. We pay them very well. So well, in fact, that if a Warforged takes any other job other than working for House Lorandar, then it would fly against all logic for them. Honestly, them striking, as it were, on the docks is... It doesn't make any sense. Again, flying in the face of all logic. What you're telling me is...
Not to interrupt you, because I understand your point, but I just want to pose a question. Have you talked to any of them?
Yes, of course we do. In fact, we do more than just talk to them. We give them updates.
I mean, since this has started, has anyone been able to speak to any of them to hear what they actually want and say? I bring this up because I'm concerned about this rabble-rouser individual, and if he is actually speaking on behalf of these Warforged, or if there is something more serious happening.
He looks at you and kind of nods and says, that's a fair question. We have attempted. Unfortunately, as I am sure you have noticed, they aren't very responsive to anything. You claim that you are able to provoke a response from them, yes?
Provoke is a word for it.
I have seen Warforged stand on our docks now for over a week. They have not once moved since they have been in that position.
Well, they moved today.
Yeah, Cersei's gonna glance to the others and kind of gauge what they're thinking too, and she just kind of gives that look like, I'm inclined to believe them, because we have nothing to indicate that they're, what they're saying isn't true. And, just for that matter, I'm gonna insight real quick. Yep. Just to see how, honest he appears to be. Definitely. No, I would I would fight Tiamat in hell for this, man.
He kind of looks at you and says, I can assure you, again, I know you are not here to negotiate for the Warforged, but I can promise you, we take very good care of our workers. They are the lifeblood of the Windwright Guild. Especially since we came here to the Living Isles. They allow us to take care of all of the transportation needs all across Toril. There's nothing we wouldn't do for these employees who are very, very well valued here. He stops and says, in fact, we even go as far as to ensure that they receive magic items that will be able to increase their performance and make them work harder and stabilize and feel refreshed at the end of their shifts, so they don't have to worry about the constant wear and tear that they are dealing with in their day-to-day lives.
So then this is quite illogical. That would mean that there is something more sinister at work, because
probably having to do with that Sarge character.
Yes. I'm inclined to believe you. I have no reason to doubt what you're saying. You just on the basis of meeting you and knowing what your house and family do for the city, there, beyond a question, there's no reason to doubt what you're saying. Which means we need to be working together in finding out who this individual is that is pulling the strings of the Warforged, and finding out why and how.
With that, Alistair kind of nods and goes into more, this entire conversation, he's been very relaxed and just kind of just listening to you, and he knows what he's about here and he knows what he's capable of, and he's been listening and very calm and laid back. And the more you continue talking and the more concerning and kind of sinister this sounds to you, now starts to sound to him too. And you see kind of a wave of seriousness as he leans forward and just continues to think, just trying to find anything that would make any sense to him. And to him, nothing. It's all coming up blank. None of this makes any sense.
We have a small lead on this individual. As Celeste had said, their name was Sarge, and they're a Warforged themselves, but one that's not employed by the docks or very well known in the area. But it's our only lead, and we're looking into where they reside. Outside of that, I'm not really sure what direction to take other than tracking this individual down.
With that, he stops, and his kind of serious look stays for a moment, and then he kind of fades and kind of snaps back to it and says, well, I mean, I really don't have any other information that I could really provide to you. I mean, I can tell you about our Warforged and the assistance that we offer to them. I can, I don't know, perhaps direct you to somebody in the trades ward that you could speak to. Maybe they could give you information. The Warforged there seem to be moving about freely, at least from what I've seen.
Is there one in particular that leads the community there that we could speak to?
He thinks for a moment and tries to think of names of individuals, and kind of starts coming up blank and shakes his head and says, but I can tell you they're actually not too far south of our the divider for the ward. I imagine a quick stroll through the neighborhoods will lead you directly to them. I'm sorry that I don't have more information. Maybe I can contact Aaron de Caneth and see if House Caneth has heard anything. They're Warforged. I know they also, they're the ones that help us to provide these docents, the magic items that help to imbue and give an added focus to our Warforged. I know they offer some to theirs. Perhaps they can get some rumors from the Warforged there, since there's quite the connection, as I'm sure you understand.
Out of character me is like, yeah, Caneth, those guys are so upstanding. They do nothing wrong ever. Perhaps speaking to them might be beneficial then, especially if they are providing items to help compensate your Warforged.
He kind of nods and says, well, then let's think about that. Let me reach out to House Caneth, see what I can come up with. Is there a way that I can reach you if I need to?
Yes, any responses or contact you want to deliver, send to the Church of Kaifon. My mother's the High Priestess there, Pandora Paradris. You could just leave it there for the Paradris family. We'll be sure to find it.
Kind of nods a bit. Okay, let me reach out to him, see what I can come up with. And in the meantime, he kind of stands up, and you watch as he reaches into like the coat pocket of this very fancy captain's outfit, and reaches in and pulls out this medallion that he places in front of you. This medallion is made of silver, stamped with the crest of House Storm on it. He kind of flashes you a bit of a grin and says, should you run into any trouble, be it from dock workers or anybody, really, just show them this. I'll make sure that their attitudes change a bit when they approach you.
Thank you. And like noticing the kraken and tentacle theme, she'll just kind of smirk and be like, have you considered paying a visit to the House of Kaifon?
He kind of looks at you and says...
He gets a brochure.
Like before he can even say it, the brochure. Like
before he even says anything, it's in his hands.
He looks at it and says, okay, I'll consider it. And he looks at it and places it down. As you're carrying on this conversation, Calypso, give me a perception check.
I'm good at those. I'm great at those.
Just Calypso?
Actually, she probably would have been the worst one because she was carrying on the conversation. Everybody give me a perception check, actually.
Even me, who's not there, I just know things.
You just know things.
Freddy sees all.
Vivien, give me a perception check.
I'm not quite on roll 20 yet.
Okay, I
No.
can roll it for you. Hold on. Not persuasion, perception. Okay. Wow. Celeste, you are the only one to notice this. As you're kind of looking around, all of you are looking at this table. You're noticing the maps that are kind of sprawled out all over it. You see a few that look very interesting to you. One, two, more specifically, the island of Mistlethurm, the gnome island, where you know you were going to be heading at some point to try to make your way inside. On this map of Mistlethurm, you're able to gather 2 bits of information. You find on this map a pinpointed location of an entryway into the city of Volnaldar. And along with it, on the bottom corner, kind of scrawled in like this very small, almost like chicken scratch kind of writing, and blood splattered across it, you see a combination A13 written in the corner.
I was on the Gnome Island?
Mm-hmm. As you guys are kind of looking around,
A13.
A13. As you're continuing to look around, you watch as Alistair quickly comes to his feet, reaching forward, kind of placing his hand down on top of the table and extending his hand out to shake the hand of Calypso. And as he does, he says, "And before you go, let me promise you something. If you get to the bottom of this and stop this strike or whatever before it gets out of hand, I'll ensure you have your own transportation around here. Or anywhere, really. I have a little something special that we've been working on. Possibly consider it payment for a job well done."
Well, that would be worthwhile.
He nods and kind of lowers his head in kind of a respectful bow, immediately extending his hand back out towards the door. And the party, I assume, kind of gets up, again, sharing pleasantries and such, and making your way back downstairs, where once again you find young Lorena standing there and continuing to push people where they gotta go and answer questions. And she sees you approach, she quickly pardons herself and walks up and says, "Was everything to your liking? Is there anything I can help you with?"
I hand her a brochure.
I was going to say, she gestures to...
"Okay, well, have a nice day."
I wave and I leave.
Once we're outside, I'm going to say they had a map of Mistlethurm in there. They marked an entrance into the city Volundar.
Circe nods.
Down at the southern end of the dock, Freddy and Jess, what are you guys doing?
Is there, like, a street vendor or a cafe that I would go get a drink or something and offer one to Jess?
Yeah, you'd be able to wander around a little bit and find just like a, kind of like a, what I'm going to refer to as like a hot dog cart vendor, that is selling just random street food, and then has, some on top of his cart has a couple of small, almost like casks, that he's pouring drinks from as well.
I dig it.
Walk up and, ask for a drink or whatever food, and he quickly hands it to you, costing only a couple copper. The food isn't fantastic. The drinks, though, are amazing.
Awesome.
As you're kind of wandering around and waiting, trying to find any information you can, you're not seeing much going on until suddenly you watch as you see the unnamed child that you ran into before begins kind of running up to you. Looks like he's been running for a good while, and as he runs up, he almost kind of collapses, leaning forward, placing his hands on his knees, taking a few deep breaths, and after a moment pause, he looks up at you and says, I found him. I found Sarge.
Well, we should go.
Indeed. Lead the way, but take your time. We're not in dire straits here.
Jess will drink the rest of Freddy's drink.
You would have got your own if you wanted one.
No, yours is fine.
Fair enough.
As the two of you continue your conversation, you give this little boy a chance to kind of catch his breath. He finally starts to get his wits about him, and then starts to explain what he had saw. He mentions that as he was wandering around, he made his way just outside of the Dock Ward, or the Selavash Ward, where you would step into the northern portion of the Trade Ward, noticing that Sarge was wandering around within one of the neighborhoods. He was having some conversations and kind of just tailing him, trying to stay as far back away as possible. And the kid followed him, watching him walk all the way to a home and then disappear. He took a little while and decided to follow him. It's here that the kid describes. Well, I heard hammer and metal. I kind of looked in, and he was making some strange armor thing. I don't really know. It had like spikes on it. He has lots of weapons on his wall, like all over the place. I really wasn't sure what else to do, so I tried to find you guys. I'm glad you were here, because I didn't know where else to look for you.
Well, I'm glad you came back and found us. If you don't mind, could you lead us the way to where this house is?
Yeah, if you would please.
He kind of nods, and he's like, yeah, I can do that. Just give me a second. And he continues kind of catching his breath and starts searching around looking for fresh water anywhere that he can find it. After taking
street vendor or something? Because I would buy him a drink or something.
Yeah, you could do that. You reach back over to the food vendor and ask him to get just a cup of water out of this, and he reaches over and has a very large barrel sitting beside it that's full of fresh water, to which he kind of scoops out and hands to you, saying obviously that he's not going to charge you for the water for the kid. The kid,
much obliged.
Kid kind of drinks it down and, okay, yeah, I think I'm ready, and kind of nods a bit.
Right, then have him lead the way and we'll follow.
Okay.
Yep.
The two of you start heading towards the north. He stays mostly along the coast, doesn't dip into any of the side streets, trying very hard to remember the exact path that he took to get to Sarge's house. After a little bit of time, you guys walking and taking a while there, the party to the north had just stepped out and had begun making their way back, attempting, I'm guessing, to regroup back with the party. As they head back, the two groups of you bump into each other and begin to explain to the others that the little boy has found Sarge.
Doing anything too drastic?
Are we just gonna go, like, spy on him?
Want to at least scope out the area and see what's up, and maybe talk to some people if we don't able to talk to Sarge himself.
I hope we get to talk to him again.
Okay. Couple of moments pass and discuss what you are going to do. The little boy again begins to lead the party forward. Start making your way south down into the trade ward. It is here he kind of wanders through, and you're watching just to see kind of what he's doing, and he's almost like he's thinking and like retracing his steps the whole path. As he goes through and kind of dips in and makes his way around, he eventually leads you back to the same place where he had originally saw Sarge, and he looks up and says, "That's it. This is the place." And he points forward, and there's a small shack almost, maybe 5 foot by 5 foot at most. Not very large whatsoever. He looks forward, and as he points to it, the door to the shack opens, and Sarge comes stepping out. As soon as he does, he turns around and immediately notices the little kid and starts almost shouting at him, saying, "I demand my privacy. I don't like humanoids like you following me around."
Oh, but we were worried about your safety.
My safety? Why would you worry about my safety?
Well, these seem to be like dire times, and you had just vanished. We were worried that something had happened.
Indeed, there's a lot of. You're making quite a ruckus, and and seems like the Dockmaster and some others working for him, and those he works for, aren't very happy about what's going on. And perhaps, maybe you could tell us about why you're leading this protest.
Well, of course they're not going to be happy. They don't want to have to pay us anymore for working on the docks. He looks and kind of shakes his head and says, "Look." He steps forward, makes his way towards you. I don't want you guys to believe that the Warforged are acting unreasonably. I decided to step up and become their voice to help them negotiate, because it's apparent their non-violent manners were going to not yield the results that they wanted. I chose to speak.
Suggesting that you're looking for violent methods to get what you need?
He looks at you and kind of tilts his head down. For the most part, you notice most Warforged aren't very animated when they talk, almost robotic in ways. This one's a little different. He acts a little different. His mannerisms are a little different. He kind of tilts his head down, almost as if like to narrow his eyes, because his eyes can't actually close. And as he narrows his head down, or turns his head down, and his eyes seem to narrow on you, he looks at you and says, "We're not wanting violence, but if that's what it's going to require, then so be it."
Has any of the dock workers hurt you?
Have the dock workers hurt me? No, why would they have hurt me?
Well, it just seems, and I can kind of relate that there's a lot of anger built up, and generally it's because of something.
Yes, it's very curious what your reason for instigating this whole ordeal when no one seems to know who you are, or that you don't actually work at the docks.
Of course I work at the docks. What are you talking about? And this is the
knows
abode.
who you are.
He kind of angrily looks at you again. The color of like the backdrop of his eyes is slowly changing and shifting, turning from like this very soft and cool kind of blue color to an orange.
Can
Can
I insight check him just to try to see if he's trying to just bullshit him and just keep?
I also want to insight, but I want to also add on. Does that anger you?
Of course it angers me. I just want fair treatment for our people.
And what do you define as fair treatment? Because the Storm House has informed us of what they provide.
And they are liars. All of House Lorandar are liars. I'm telling you.
I'm going to weigh our findings thus far. House Lorandar has shown us evidence that they provide for their Warforged. The Dockmaster seems confused that they've never met you and that you are not under their employ. You have indicated that you are prepared to provide violence.
Do you mind if I actually check out your abode and like what they provide for you? Because that would be evidence for your case.
Evidence? Do you not see it from here?
No.
Do you mind if I look in it?
Of course I mind. That is my own property. I do not want you in my home.
Well, what do they
I'll have you know, I
do
not agree with you, and as this conversation continues, you hear a loud thud. The sound of metal against metal scraping, and then what you make out to be the sound of almost crackling energy. Your eye contact with Sarge is interrupted as his body immediately goes lifeless, deactivated right in front of you. You glance down, and in his chest, a pointed metal shard, roughly 8 inches in length, with a purple and black crystal embedded into it, about 1 inch in diameter at the base, sticking out of his chest. This crackling energy radiating and sparking as it kind of sends shockwaves into the chest of this now deactivated Warforged in front of you.
Did it look like it was an impact? Or that it had always been there?
Yeah, it looks like it just pierced straight through.
Like a spider from somewhere?
So, give me an idea of or actually, I guess we should roll for it.
So,
what would the trajectory of is it an exit wound? Is it a pierced into wound? Like, did somebody fire it behind us, sort of thing?
It's pierced into.
Yeah.
So the shaft itself, or the rod that is now sticking out of this Warforged chest, is about 8 inches long, and you see at least 4 inches of it sticking out, including the 1.5 inches at the end, where this crystal is kind of wedged into it and is imbuing this power to it. Freddy,
but is it going in or sticking
it's
out
going
from within?
through the front So as you're facing towards Sarge,
so something
through.
shot past us and hit him.
Freddie, you had asked a question.
Yeah, that's basically what I was asking. Like, if it was something that shot him, and like if where it came from, if we can see.
Everybody can give me a perception check if you would like to try to figure out more information about this.
Does he look like he's gonna fall?
Does he look like what?
Does he look like he's gonna fall? Because if so, I'd like to stop him.
No. You notice when I kind of mentioned this, so basically he as this kind of jabbed into him, his body immediately just kind of lurched forward as if he just completely powered down. Like, that was it. With Freddie and Celeste, everybody's kind of scrambling, trying to figure out what the hell's going on. Freddie and Celeste, and you kind of take a look around, initially not seeing anything, and then your eyes look back behind, trying to trace the path where you think this might have came from. As you look back, you see this faint shadow that kind of zips out of view almost instantly. As you kind of turn around and start making your way over to get a better view, you don't see anything, just empty space.
I wanna grab the item from his chest.
Okay. Give me a strength check to see if you can pull it out.
I'm going to assist.
Hey,
yes.
Thank you for the nat 20.
You're welcome.
Can does it seem like the thing that went through him was magical?
That's what you're initially getting off of this, yes.
Yeah, it's what I'm hoping to find out by taking it with us.
Well, I was hoping to maybe do like an Arcana check, maybe.
Okay. Calypso, as you reach forward and yank this shard out of his chest, you take 1 point of lightning damage as it kind of lashes out and kind of hits you in the hand. It stings a little bit, but doesn't really
hair up
do.
on end.
Yeah. But as soon as it leaves the chest of Sarge, the lightning stops. You take a look at this, look a bit closer, and it reveals the tip of this is almost shaped as if it's like an arrow. But then it tapers off into this like 1 inch diameter end where the crystal is mounted into it. It's a little too big to be like a crossbow bolt, but too short to be an arrow.
You said while like that was happening, there was a crash from inside his shack or whatever, or not? Or no?
So it was the sound of metal on metal. So this shard that was stuck in his chest, piercing through the metal outer exoskeleton of Sarge.
All right, since we didn't see or catch whoever shot it.
Correct. You caught a glimmer of them, and they kind of rushed off. But as you turn around and went to look for them, you lost sight of where they went to.
Is there any of the city guards around?
Kind of take a quick look around. You're not seeing any guards in your immediate vicinity. But you do notice something else. All of the people standing in this kind of area are now staring at you. With this shard now in the hand of Calypso, the shard that just killed Sarge.
Oh, he's like dead.
I'm gonna go find a guard, and we should probably all stay. The rest of you stay here.
Honestly, I was gonna go in the direction of wherever the perpetrator that shot this one.
As you
if I can find him.
As you start looking around, you're noticing everyone's watching very closely. Mothers kind of pushing their children away, backing away from the group of you, seeing this now disabled Warforged in front of you, and all of you holding the weapon that killed it. However, off to the south, you hear the sound of crashing pottery and shouting. As you turn around, take a look to the south, noticing almost about 50 feet away, a man hurrying quickly down the road, trying to make his way through one of the side roads. I need everyone to roll initiative, please.
Did I get to do an Arcana check?
You can. You won't have any
Also-
time to do anything right now.
But I rolled before.
Sure. Let me tell you what you know about this. You know that one sec. You know that this crystal that is kind of wedged into this this metal shard that they're holding is a Kaibar dragon shard. These are very magical crystals that flourish all over Eberron. Has a kind of blue or purplish or violet color, and they're used quite often for binding magics, used against elementals to perhaps make them react in a certain way, such as with the lightning rail or things of that nature. This shard seems to have corrupted and potentially killed Sarge whenever it came in contact through this metal shaft that pierced through his chest.
Well, I'll keep that in mind for after the fight.
And I'm missing.
Also, are we going to get the results of the insight check?
No, he's dead.
Yeah, we need to know if he was just inciting this for actual reasons or if he was just trying to bullshit it.
What do you mean?
Me and Ren incited a while ago.
Right, we had incited his tone and intentions before he got shot and never got results.
He seemed very angry. He seemed 100% like he believed in what he was saying, but in a manner where it was way more defensive than what you would think somebody would be, especially in that kind of situation. He became very hostile very quickly, and again, because your experiences with Warforged are not that of, highly animated Warforged, this seems highly irregular.
Yeah, that's not good. Alright.
Alright. So, let's do this. Top of the turn order, you watch as this individual, with a quick glimpse as you look down straight ahead, you notice he has kind of a bluish complexion to his skin, giving you the feeling that he is a drow of sorts. As he continues running off, making his way towards the east, he disappears around the corner of the building. To the top of the turn order, Gjest, you are first to react.
She's gonna run, just dash full on in that direction.
Alrighty.
You don't have coming action yet, do you?
Level 2.
Oh. Go, Chest, go.
Keep going. Gotta keep going.
Keep going. My game just closed because it's being dumb today. So all of my windows closed. That's cool.
Yay!
As you're looking, give me... Your passive perception is not going to be enough. Give me a regular perception check. As you look forward, trying to figure out the direction that this guy went, peeking around the corner, you begin to see him around the corner, rushing, heading off towards the south. Freddy.
Alright, so I'm going to use my action to cast Thaumaturgy, and I'm going to yell that someone stop that drow. He murdered somebody.
Give me
attacked somebody.
Give me a perception check.
Oh no.
Oof.
As you shout this out, you fail to notice that there are actually quite a few drow all around here. You're shouting this out, and everybody panics and stops and looks at you, kind of freaking out a bit.
Point in the direction that the wind was, because I'm assuming someone, like he was making a ruckus, someone should have saw.
Gjest, how much movement do you have?
30.
Okay.
Or can I not do dash again?
No, you can only do dash once.
With cunning action, they can do it twice, but it only gives them 30 each time, so they can move 90.
Be there.
Okay. All right. So yeah, you shout this out, and immediately a handful of drow that are surrounding the area kind of panic and look around like, what? We didn't do anything.
They start pointing at each other.
Yeah, it wasn't me, it was this one.
Fucking racist flaming fist coming down to the docks.
Also, isn't Gjest a drow right now?
Yeah.
Yup.
The one that just bolted.
The two half drow are definitely not making eye contact with Freddy.
Just walking by, hands over to the side of their face, just like don't make eye contact with them.
We're not even looking. Just keep going.
Well, again, as I said, I would point and I would head in that direction with my 30 feet of movement.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
Well, that would be my turn.
Okie dokie. So letting out this shout and then quickly moving forward. Calypso. Everything's happening in front of you.
I'm just gonna double move as well.
As you kind of brush through the crowded group of individuals, give me a dex check.
I'm good at those.
How much movement do you have? Goodness.
Okay, it's a double move. It would be 60 feet. I've only gone 40. Can I do an athletics to maneuver around them?
Nope, it's just dex.
Or no, it would be acrobatics. Dang. Yeah. Okay. Hold on.
10.
So as you're kind of rushing through and not really being as mindful about the individuals in front of you, you go rushing forward, running into these two ladies that are having a conversation, kind of stumble you up a bit, slowing down the last portion of your movement, keeping you from going the full extent of your running here.
I killed them. Oh, okay, that's
Yep,
fine.
you killed them by running them over.
Yeah. All right, tangled up. So that's it.
Yep.
Cool.
All right, Circe.
So after the shot happened, Circe had immediately thrown both of her hands in the air because she panicked because there's gunfire, and she hasn't put them down yet. And now she's just running down the street, just arms outstretched because
So,
she's scared and terrified.
It wasn't gunfire. If I described it as gunfire, I'm sorry.
Well, it was a shot, and then someone got
like
shot.
Like
someone
like a shot.
got shot.
It
so
wasn't actually gunfire.
We can't have guns.
It was
we
just
know how
the-
Forge feels about guns in his fantasy.
It was just the impact of the bolt piercing through the chest is what you were hearing. Just
Right.
that metal on metal sound.
In any case, hands in the air, running wildly down the street.
Okay.
And then she double moves and just goes, ah.
Panicking.
Only not really, because she doesn't talk. But, yeah.
Okay. Vivien.
I'm gonna double move as well.
Okay.
So that's 60, so that's my turn.
Okay. Celeste.
Ark.
I'm setting up my movement.
He's mapping it out. Careful to avoid everything.
Goddamn wood elf.
Just like with Gjest, you see she's kind of pointed and looking in the direction of this drow who's running away. Top of the turn order, he takes off running. Mm-hmm.
I want to check something quickly.
Okay.
It's not really a time for a hot dog cart trip.
I'm going to cast Hunter's Mark.
Okay. So you...
I meant to just spell some spell card, but it did damage.
Yeah, it's fine. I know what you were meaning to do. All right, you put Hunter's Mark on it.
So now I have advantage on perception and survival checks to find them.
Mm-hmm.
I think you should also know its exact location
You
for
will.
like a while.
You will. All right. With that, it is his turn to move. Jess, you watch as this drow quickly runs forward, running up towards one of these houses and kind of disappears back behind this kind of very large kind of palm tree that's setting at the end of this lot and this house. He barges forward, leaning into this door, to which he suddenly disappears as he seemingly just runs into this building here. It is your turn.
Alright, she's going to do the same thing again.
Okie doke.
Is this dude right here a guard?
No, these are some of the street thugs that you've seen before. You do see a guard up and around the corner, though.
Alright, she's gonna use... she's gonna get to the corner and wave to the guard to usher him over.
Okay, and you see three of them. They begin making their way forward, heading over towards you here. Citizens kind of moving out of the way as they walk forward.
Have any of you seen a man, dark skin, was running? I think he might have killed someone.
They kind of look around, and the one that was up to the north kind of shakes his head, not seeing anything. The one to the south, however, kind of nods and points and says, "The one that ran into that building," and points to the building up here.
Yes. There was a while back. There's a body that was struck with some weird rod thing, and then this man just took off running immediately after, and I chased him all the way.
Kind of looks at you, and the 3 guards kind of look, and one of them kind of shakes his head and says, I'm not sure that really makes him a murderer. Probably at least just a coincidence that he was there. I mean, are you certain this man is a killer?
I think he has something to do with it, yes.
Okay. The guards kind of nod and look to each other, and after a brief moment, trying to decide what they're going to do, you watch as they kind of motion as if they're going to head over towards the door. But we'll continue on. Freddy.
I have an idea of the direction that Celeste and the perpetrator went in.
Yeah, I mean, from where you stand, you can peek around the corner and see where Celeste is. Possibly try to glean the location of where this drow went to, if you would like to.
Well, I'd like to use my action for double movement to head in that direction, but I was thinking I'll probably head down and around instead of trying to cut through the middle.
Okay.
Head this way.
Alright, so you begin to head south, making your way through. As you come through, you notice a couple of kind of rough-looking individuals looking over at you and just noticing as you're running by, and just kind of smirk a little bit as you go by.
Whatever.
You said you were heading south.
And these are two more
guards.
Guards, yes. Alright, I want to stop briefly in passing and tell them that there's been an attack to the north and point in the direction.
Okay. As you do, the 2 men nod and immediately begin heading north.
And I'm going to pass by them and finish my last 10 feet movement if possible.
Okay.
I'm assuming I can at least see.
You can see where Gjest is now, yes.
Well, that's my turn.
Alrighty, Calypso.
Also, just like to point out that my still have thaumaturgy, and when I told them about the attack up north, I was still having thaumaturgy.
That's as far as I can get.
Alrighty. Seriously.
Whee!
Avoid all the things as you get right here. Give me a dex check. Start stumbling over your own feet for a second, but you're able to remain standing and continue on.
I've had a lot of practice running around with a blanket wrapped around myself, so...
Vivien.
That was diagonal.
Yep. I got you.
That's as far as I can go.
Okie dokie. Celeste. He's just marking out his path. Same as the others. When you get right here, give me a dex check.
Ouch.
Ouch. Actually causes you to trip and fall here, sending you to the ground, knocking you prone. Unable to complete your movement.
Ow.
Ow. Gjest, you watch as the guards quickly begin making their way over, kind of gathering around over at the doorway here. Couple loud pounds on the door, and then you see as the door kind of peeks open. As they do, the guard pushes himself into the room, each one of them filing inside. Whoa, I just grabbed the whole map there. Filing inside of the chamber, closing the door behind them, and then silence. And then lots of noise.
But like noise of someone getting murdered, or
I don't know. Jess, give me a perception check. What kind of noise is that?
is there a xenomorph in there?
Oh, an 8.
Sounds like a party.
Oh no.
Oh, guys, we just interrupted a birthday party. That's all. This is all just an elaborate birthday
big
party.
Misunderstanding. That's all.
She's gonna take one step back, so she's can see either exit on the side.
Mm-hmm. So from where you stand, and I'll give you a description here in just a second. I'm looking for something. Hold on. From where you stand, I'll give you the breakdown of this place. You look at this building here. This building is basically this very large kind of sandstone colored house. The big palm tree resting off to the west. There are a couple of windows, mostly the one here off to the side, but they're on every flanking side of it except for the one that the wall or the door is at. And the front's just a kind of really light colored wood door leading you in. Yeah, and that's what you're seeing. Over at this side, you're not really seeing a door, but a window. And then you see the one door here based on your quick scope as you were running around the building. That's what you could tell from it.
How high up is the window?
It's about 7 feet off the ground. The building itself is about 15 feet tall. The window is about 5 feet wide and about 3.5, 4 foot tall.
Does it look like she can actually use the rest of her move and maybe perhaps jump up to look into the window?
You'd have a hard time climbing up. I mean, it's a sandstone surface, but if you grab onto the ledge of where that opening is, again, it's like 8 feet up off the ground. So you'd have to have a pretty good jump to grab onto it. And then I'd have to have you give me a strength check if you're going to do it.
Is there anything off to the side? Like, I know there's like this area has like dabbing to it.
Which area? I'm sorry.
The little areas on like the corner of the buildings have dots on them. Yeah, what is that?
That's just sand underneath.
Oh.
Yeah. This was a generic map that I generated for this part of the city, and then I have other maps for the future.
And that on the...
And that what?
On the side, is that a tree over there?
It is. It's a very large palm tree over there.
Alright, she's gonna use that to possibly try to springboard herself up onto the roof.
Okay. So you can give me a acrobatics or athletics check if you're going to try to climb up it.
It's gonna be crazy. 15.
You're able to kind of grab on. Of course, you know how palm trees are. It's pretty much nothing until you get to the very top. You're able to kind of reach up and grab onto it, grabbing onto the husk of the tree itself, or the bark of the tree, and slowly kind of climb your way up. It's going to take you a little while, but you can maybe get to the top of it. I don't know that your jumping skills are going to be enough to jump from the top of the tree, because you got to remember it's going to be the center, because the leaves are just cave in, because they're just leaves. It's not like there are big branches or anything coming off of it.
That's fine. She'll try to climb up and then jump it.
Yep. Okay. Freddy.
What? Alright, I'm gonna continue to make my way that direction.
You should see me in the palm tree.
I use double my action to move twice as far. And as I pass by and see the rest of the party, I'm going to call out to Calypso and Vivien to flank around the other side of the house.
Okay. Calypso. Said all they can do is move, so I'll double move for them. She'll come over here and then try to wait to see what your directions are. If you want her to flank around the side, she'll go over there.
So out of curiosity, is this spot here, is that like actual like a path, or?
Yeah, it's a path between the buildings there.
Yeah, that was kind of part of what I was kind of. Well, I guess I can't see that necessarily, but.
Right. Okay. Anything else? Oh, that's Calypso, no. Seriously.
So they went in and then closed the door, and then a bunch of noise happened?
Yep, lots of noise.
I'm just going to walk over and open the door.
I like it.
Okay.
Like, I mean, we could second guess and be like, what's going on in there? Or we could just find out what's going on in there.
Okay, give me a second. Because, yeah, reasons.
A frontline sorcerer.
I can do it.
I mean, frontline sorcerer works if you're like the giant soul or whatever, like stone giant soul or stone giant soul or whatever. Get the HP and vitality boost. Or constitution, rather, not vitality.
Okay. Hope you're ready.
Probably not.
Alright, so Circe rushing forward, attempting to make her way inside, opening the door. Sees all three guards slain, laying in the corner of the chamber. I have this to read you. As you open the door and take a quick look around, you're able to see the 3 dead bodies of the guards laying amongst a few chests in the back corner of the room. A rug in the center of the room appears to be bunched up in a few spots, with a table and a few chairs resting on top of it. To the right of the room, a ladder which reaches up to the top of the window, which sets 8 feet off of the ground. However, within this room, you're not alone. Greeting you, the assassin that you have been trailing to this point is accompanied by 3 men, all wearing gray and tan and green tabards with a green trim around the outside edge and a green flame at the center of them, which looks a little bit like a hand. On their backs hang a green cape that drapes down all the way across their back. The armor beneath their tabards, also a greenish colored scale mail that's protecting their body, while their hands rest at their sides, holding on to the swords that they were once using. Your entry, however, immediately alerts them, causing them to grab also for their shields, which bear the similar flame-like green hand as they begin to turn and step in your direction. I need just a second so I can roll for all of these other people.
I close the door, then walk away whistling.
Is this a window?
What's that?
Is this over here a window as well as this?
Yep.
Is there glass in the window?
No, but they're 8 feet off the ground.
Okay, what's my high jump?
Holy cow. All right. So, with that, is there anything else you would like to do before we
Yes,
get into
because
this?
opening a door is part of my move action. So I'm going to dash and be like, bye.
And immediately close the door. Okay. Turn around and bolt, making your way out of the chamber, to which they will follow. Let's see. Walks up and he
I'm so non-threatening.
once again reopens the door.
I'm sorry, that was a little spammier than I thought it was going to be.
Oh yeah, on our end, our initiatives got kicked off the track.
Okay. Runs forward, looks ahead. He sees Calypso. Reaches forward. As he does, the rest of you turn around and look and see Calypso at her feet. These skeletal hands begin to burst through the ground, reaching up and grabbing on to the legs of Calypso. Calypso, are you there?
Yes.
Does a 20 hit?
Yep.
These hands reach up. These hands reach up, grabbing onto your legs, trying to pull you under, dealing 5 necrotic damage to you as they cast Chill Touch.
I was wondering why there was one next to me before I noticed it was a thug.
This one too is going to make his way outside. Instead is going to run straight up into the face of Calypso, uncaring of the scene that he is about to make as he grabs onto his long sword, slashing forward. Does an 8 hit?
No, an 8 does not hit.
As he swipes forward, you're able to quickly parry across, avoiding the attack. As he reaches back, swiping yet again, a 14 this time.
14 doesn't hit.
All right, and once again, you knock it away, able to completely avoid it. Why did you re-roll initiative? Why are we re-rolling initiative?
Because
I think they're added to the order because we can't see it. We're adding it though. I changed it back to.
I can see it. Oh right. Oh. Okay. Okay. This sucks. Let me. Do you see, Vivien, do you see yourself before or after the drow?
I see myself before the assassin guy.
Okay. Celeste, I have 2 for you. Do you still see yourself?
No.
Okay. This sucks. Why doesn't it carry over? So dumb. Add turn. Go ahead and add your number.
Need to add mine in too. I don't.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to delete everybody's here. Gjest, you had 23. Freddy, you had 18. I'm gonna remove both here. Calypso, you had 12. Circe, you had 11.
Correct.
Okay, I'm gonna just re-add everybody. So if you can change yours again, I would appreciate it. Who am I missing on here? Gjest?
Just had like a 23.
Yeah, 23.
Yep, just change your number back to what it was. Freddy and Celeste, change yours. Oh, Celeste is good. Freddy and Calypso.
There we go. I kept like clicking it and it kept like unclicking it, or I don't know, it's weird, but I got it now.
Okay, is that everybody? No, Calypso, what was yours?
I think it was a 12.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a 12.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one. Now this guy. He's going to hold his action. Vivien. That sucks.
Okay,
I hate that it doesn't carry over.
Move. 5. And then I will cast Eldritch Blast on the guy in front of Calypso.
Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to fix the camera here a little bit. Put this here. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, casting Eldritch Blast. Go ahead and give me the spell attack. I think if you change it from a spell card to an attack, it should auto-update. So from your spell list, click on the little cog and there's an option that says spell card. You click on it.
It'll also put it on the main attack page too.
It'll be on your attack page too.
I'll do that during the next round, but for now, to just keep it moving, I'll do Chill Touch instead.
Oh, okay. On the one that you can see here? That's just... Yep, okay. Alright. 16 hits. Alrighty. Anything else?
Nope.
Alrighty. Celeste, a couple guys filed out of here. It's causing quite a stir as the citizens are starting to flee.
Grab an arrow and use my longbow.
Alrighty. An 11 does not hit, unfortunately. Anything else?
No, I don't have extra.
Alright. Top of the turn order, we are actually going to pause and take a 5-minute break. before we continue on?
Okay, no.
Alrighty.
Woo.
All right, guys. So yeah, we're going to take our short 5-minute break here. Come back, continue our combat within this this place here that they have encountered some new enemies. So stick around. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right. Is everybody here and ready?
Still here.
Still here. You sound so sad today.
I'm just on the tail end of that being sick.
Oh, that sucks. It's like you sound so sad today. Like something's wrong.
Big hugs for Ren.
Big hugs for Ren.
Big hugs.
You don't feel
No,
good.
I'm
But
perfectly fine. 2 days till vacation.
But we're all wearing hazmat suits when we hug you.
Uh-huh. Gjest, you're in a tree peeking in, and you see the assassin at the other side of the room, standing at the bottom of the ladder.
She's going to draw her short bow and try to fire at it.
Okay.
Them.
At them. Yep. Go ahead.
It.
Them's okay. 11 is going to miss, unfortunately.
What's with the 11s?
Right, lots of 11s tonight.
Guys, I don't want to spook you, but that thing that attacked Calypso, it hit twice, so we might want to step up the hitting game here.
Anything else?
And as her other bonus action, she's going to attempt to hide behind, kind of like scoot around the other side of the tree. That.
Alrighty, so making your way over, kind of over here. Getting out
Yep.
of plain view. Okay.
Yep.
Alrighty. This individual is going to charge forward as well. As he comes out, looking around, looks over in the direction of Circe, points. I'm so sorry. Nat 20.
Right.
No, it doesn't.
Totally doesn't hit.
Or why?
Totally doesn't hit.
You clarified that was on me again?
No,
It was me.
Seriously,
Oh.
yeah. Fortunately, it's just till touch as you see the hands burst through the sand underneath of her feet, grabbing onto her legs and dealing 10 points of necrotic damage. Yikes.
Just 10 on the sorcerer.
Yeah, just 10 on the person with the lowest HP in the party.
Freddy, you just watched the skeletal hands rip through the ground. All of the citizens are GTFO, and I'm accidentally moving a building.
The buildings are attacking.
It's a mimic.
Biggest mimic ever.
Baba Yaga's hut, look out!
Okay, what are you doing?
Well,
Oh, that guy ran back inside. He's still out here.
let's see. Well, ball still can't even get up unless I use unless I use an action. I'll run up by 30 feet.
Okay.
And has either of these guys outside been attacked yet and damaged?
The one directly north of Calypso took a shot, but that was it.
Okay, I'm gonna cast Toll the Dead on him.
Okay. And need a wisdom save.
Oh, jeez. 3 damage. Boom.
Yeah, wisdom save. He rolled a 3.
Woohoo! 3 necrotic damage.
Alrighty. You hear the toll of the bell. See as he rises a little bit, but he doesn't quite react the way you thought he would. Doesn't appear to have affected him as much as you wanted it.
Well, boom, then that's my turn.
Alrighty. Calypso.
Well, that jerk moving into a space where I wanted to be is going to make things difficult. She is going to cast Thunderous Smite, and she's going to hit the guy in front of her.
Okay.
With the intention of knocking him into the guy by the door.
And kind of knocking them both back.
Yep.
Okay.
And I'm gonna... these guys are not having a problem hitting me right now. Do I two-hand it or do I one-hand it?
One-hand it. They're swinging twice.
That's fair. God bless it.
Unfortunately, yeah, it's just not enough to get through the scale mail or the shield that they're wielding. And
thankfully, I don't
off.
burn that smite.
Yeah, thankfully, you're right. As you swipe down, making impact with the shield, this individual reaching up, bracing against it, just bounces right off the shield.
Yeah, I'm just gonna slide over this way.
Okay. Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
All right, seriously.
Circe is gonna hold a hand out to this one, and then lightning forms around her fingers, and then it just explodes out to try to catch him with it.
The one directly in front of you?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Wow, this is not the most helpful. Okay, that should have done it. There we go.
Unfortunately, a 14 is not enough, as it again ricochets off of the shield as he raises his arm.
I'm gonna go hide.
Alrighty. Is that it?
Yep. That was a good use of my last spell slot.
Alrighty. And with that, you watch as this soldier backs away, closing the door behind him. The party out here losing track of where these two are, except for Gjest, who I can give information to as needed. This one turning around, looking, seeing that the door is now closed, reaches forward with his longsword, making 2 attacks, a 6 and an 8, both of which are going to miss on Calypso. Okay. Vivien.
All right. So I am going to just cast Eldritch Blast at the one in front of Calypso.
Okay. Yeah, that definitely hits.
Finally, somebody hits.
Yay!
I think he's the only one that has hit.
Mm-hmm. As she casts this Eldritch Blast, Freddy, you hear as it whizzes right by your head and just kind of just blasts right into the chest of this armored individual, kind of knocking him back a little bit, doing a little bit of damage, but he is still standing. Anything else?
When my screen stops freaking out, I'm going to move forward a little bit.
Okay.
But that's my turn.
Alrighty. Celeste.
I'm going to go for another shot at the one in front of Calypso.
Alrighty. Oof.
God damn it.
13 is not enough as you let loose another arrow. It goes flying in the direction of this individual. He is able to once again maneuver just fast enough to raise his shield up, and you watch as the arrow sticks into the front of the shield, to which he takes his longsword and breaks the arrow off, leaving the arrowhead stuck in the face of the shield. Anything else?
That was just a waste of a good arrow.
Gjest.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. Looking through Gjest, you're seeing not a lot of movement. You do see the individual that was at the door is now back over by where the assassin was. So you see this.
Alright, she's going to actually, as an action, with hopefully nobody looking, she's gonna, make sure her head's up, but she's gonna change her appearance to the Warforged that was just killed.
Okay.
Sergeant. To him, and then acrobatically attempt to get down the tree and land.
Okay. Give me an acrobatics check. Make sure you land on your feet. Oh,
17.
Yeah. Perfect. Land on your feet.
And I don't. Is it only like half my movement to move anymore?
I'd say, yeah, you have half movement right now because you had to climb down from the tree itself.
Yeah, she will take 2 steps forward.
Okay.
So that she comes into the light, or as Sergeant comes into the light.
Alrighty. Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Alrighty. Continuing on. This armed individual here in front of Calypso turns, similar to before, continues attacks with longsword. Ooh, that one's going to hit. 20?
Yep.
As he does, give me a Constitution saving throw, please. Yep, perfect. He reaches forward, taking this first swipe, and as it lands, you watch as this blade kind of glows this eerie kind of necrotic energy. As it makes contact, you're able to save against it and resist this necrotic feeling like the cold that's kind of washing over you. But you still take 7 points of slashing damage as it makes an impact on you. And that is his turn. Freddy.
Seeing that Calypso is being ganged up on here, I'm going to step up within the melee range. And unsheath my mace and attack. Also, before that, I'm going to yell to the 2. Are there still 2 people standing?
Technically, no, but I can't remove them right now. I'm trying, but I can't because there's other stuff blocking the way.
It looks like they're part of the map, too.
They are, and they're items that are higher in the ranking. Here, let me see if I can do this. Send to back. I can do that. And then this guy can go away, and then I can send this to back. And then this guy can go away. So there. And I can click here. And then...
It's a real shame. All these sinkholes that the dog ward has to deal with.
Yeah. Just a shame. Houses just disappearing.
And then reappearing.
And then reappearing again. Okay.
Alright, swing with my mace.
Okay.
Nope.
Not today. Anything else?
Nope, that'll be it.
All right, Calypso. Freddy has come up to join the fray with you.
Yep, so I'm going to scoot back over, and then I'm going to try and smite this guy through the door.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh,
Here
yeah, big hit.
And that was an additional 2d6 thunder, okay. So 8 slashing.
Okay. And he moves
wait.
10 feet back, dealing 12 damage.
I don't think I could stack them.
Divine Smite. You can activate it when you hit.
Mm-hmm. Because you can call the other smite, but divine smite's anytime. So after you hit,
right,
you can.
Yeah,
still
I'll
use
go ahead
divine.
and do that. Then that's a good call.
Yeah.
I'll burn my other spell slot for the next week on this single asshole. No, I'm not going to do that. I need to. I have an idea of what I want to save that last slot for, but it is a good point. But yeah, I want to knock this guy through the door.
Okay, it doesn't knock him prone. It just knocks him back. Correct.
It knocks him back and prone, yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, he falls back, crashing through the door. As he does, it now opens up the view of everything else that was back here, with the other two back in the corner here. But he is now knocked prone.
All right. And now, the reason I saved it, since this guy hasn't left yet, I'm going to point at the drow. And I'm probably going to get myself killed for this, but I don't want him escaping. I'm going to tell him.
Ooh.
Wisdom
Sorry, saving throw.
That one. Yeah, DC 13. She's just going to look at him and she's going to say, "You're not going anywhere."
Okay. Let's do this.
Come at me, Scrub Lord, I'm ripped.
Of course he does. Yeah, nope, he saved.
As he turns, looks at you, and just kind of snickers a bit.
Just shrugs.
It's like,
Just,
you little child, okay. That's cute. Anything else?
Nope, I've used all my action economy.
Alright. Cersei.
See, if I could have locked him down, that would have been fine. But
Mm-hmm.
could have done this right.
I'm going to use my bonus action to convert my sorcery points into a spell slot.
Yay.
And then I'm going to come out. And then I'm going to lightning this one. I'm going to do the same thing. Gonna try. There we go.
Yeah, 20 hits.
Alright, so it does 12 or 1d12, and until I use my action to do something else, or if he moves out of range, which is 30 feet, I can, as an action, hit him with a free shot of 1d12. Because I am unlimiting powering him.
Yup. Alright, anything else?
Nope.
Alrighty. Back to the north. Calypso, give me a perception check.
I'm good at those.
Alrighty. The one down here stumbles to kind of make back to his feet. Takes him a couple seconds to get up, immediately turns, looks back in the direction once again of Calypso. 16 to hit.
No.
His hand attempting to once again cast Chill Touch. You see the skeletons again breaking through the cobblestone flooring here. You're able to quickly just kick them away, keeping from grabbing onto you. But that is his turn. With that, the drow begins to move. Making his way quickly up this ladder, diving through this small opening of the window, and begins to run, making his way north.
Getting away.
You think?
Vivien.
Okay, I'm gonna move and then I'm gonna cast Eldritch Blast again at the guy next to Freddy.
Okay. Unfortunately, not enough. As the Eldritch Blast flies through, kind of ducks his head out of the way. It whizzes by Calypso. You actually feel it kind of clip your hair as it flies by, slamming into the wall over to the side of you. Anything else?
Well, I'll use the rest of my movement and then I will end my turn.
Alrighty. Celeste.
Third time's the charm.
Third time's a charm.
Yeah.
Third time is a charm. Nice damage. You watch as the bolt jabs into the shoulder of him. He's unable to raise his shield fast enough to block it. And as it jabs in, he kind of stumbles back a little bit, just barely keeping his footing, but he does so. Anything else?
Nope.
All right. Gjest, climb down from the tree. You now look like a Warforged, and there's a lot of things going on in front of you. Don't hear you if you're talking.
No, she wouldn't be able to perceive or anything that the guy took out the other window and took off.
Not from where you stand, no.
Alright, then she's going to move forward and attack with her short bow.
Okay. Stepping forward, trying to get an angle on this soldier individual. You draw back, unleash, flies in the direction, and makes solid
21.
impact.
8.
All right. You catch this guy clipping him in the hip. Do you have sneak attack? Are you a rogue?
Yeah, I'm a rogue.
You would have advantage because his attention is currently turned on to.
Not even It's not even advantage. Someone's next to him.
Yeah. It's true. Go ahead and roll that sneak attack. Yeah. Oh, right. Because rogue is anybody beside him, or if you have advantage on the attack. Yep.
I play so many rogues.
So do whatever is a 2D.
At level 1, I think it's 1d6 at level 1.
Yeah, it's 1d6, but I have it on there. I have it set on it, but it's not for whatever reason in roll.
You have to check it before you roll your damage.
That might be what it is.
To auto roll it.
5.
But yeah. All right. Gjest, you watch as this arrow piercing into the hip of this this soldier, immediately bringing him down to one knee. you watch as he takes his shield and kind of places it on the ground, trying to brace himself and pull himself back up. But it's not enough as he collapses to the ground in front of you.
Oh, man. For my bonus action, I'm just gonna move again.
Okay.
That's it.
Alrighty, so you move a
Lost
little
Ark.
bit closer, attempting to kind of glance around, getting a feel for what's going on. As you do look forward and make your way over towards the entryway, you do notice that the drow that was in front of you has disappeared. That guy's dead. Freddy.
Did I happen to see from my vantage point the drow assassin guy jump out the window?
You could give me we'll do a retroactive perception check at disadvantage because you are currently engaged with the soldier.
Okay.
If only. Unfortunately, no, because you were so tied up with this soldier that was directly beside you, you were unable to catch a glimpse that the drow had made his way out of the building.
Well, unaware that he had left, I'm going to step up next to Calypso and attempt to attack this fellow.
Okay.
Goodness me.
Swipe the mace forward, and unfortunately it's not enough as the soldier takes his longsword, knocks the mace out of the way. Does not make impact. Calypso. Uh, 15 unfortunately does not hit.
Can't hear you, Ren.
Yeah, we can't hear you at all.
Oh, I wonder why that got muted. Oh well, I just switched up to two-handed, and then that's it. That's all I can do.
Yep. As you swipe forward with the longsword, putting a little bit of extra emphasis behind the attack, it's just not enough as the sword bounces off the shield and the guy is able to block it. Seriously.
She is going to conjure up a ball of purple fire and then throw it past this strange Warforged that she was pretty sure she just saw die. So that's weird, but probably not the weirdest thing that she's ever seen in her life. And past her sister at this guy.
She's Pandora's child, of course not.
It's actually kind of tame, really.
It's a Tuesday.
16 hits.
Woo!
Cool.
2 damage!
2 whole damage.
Go with the damage rush. It'll make us look bad.
So the problem that Cersei was having is she's so tiny compared to everything that's in front of her, and she's kind of like peeking around, like trying to look around the Warforged and trying to see around her sister, and it's like, okay, well, here's the best I can do, and lobs like a curveball, and it draws so much of the power off of it that by the time it hits, it's like next to nothing.
I basically just threw like a birthday candle flame at him. Take that! And I'm gonna go over here and see if I can find the assassin.
Excellent. As you step over to the side, You glance to the north, and you do see the assassin who is quickly making an escape off to the north. But before that can transpire, this guy's going to rush up. Only going to have one target in front of him. He's going to take his longsword and swipe twice. Oof, both are going to hit 21 and a 23, Calypso.
Yep.
First attack, as he slashes forward, deals 4 slashing. Give me a Constitution saving throw, please. Once again, saving against this necrotic energy that you feel this blade begins to imbue itself with as he hits you with the first attack. The second attack comes down, only dealing 3 more slashing on top. Feeling a bit beat down now. It's a lot of damage.
Only 3. No,
Only
I'm down.
3.
That's 0.
Oh no. As the impact lands, everybody, you watch as Calypso collapses to the ground, unmoving.
I think the worst part is he used alliteration.
Yeah. All right, and with that, we move to this guy who looks over the now fallen body of Calypso, looks over, actually he's going to step forward like here, looks down at Gjest, points and says, "You're supposed to be dead," and immediately turns at her, swiping twice, both of which I'm sure are going to miss. An 11 was the highest.
Yep, they miss.
All right, so first swipe completely missing, second swipe also missing. You're able to quickly sidestep and almost like kind of matrix dodge out of the way of this blade that's coming at you, taking no damage from it. With that, the assassin continues running, runs north of the map, completely out of visibility, and you see him walk or run into a very crowded street up ahead. Vivien.
Well, that ruins what I was planning. So I'll just Eldritch Blast the guy in front of Gjest.
Okay. Unfortunately, that's not going to be enough.
Well, I'll move, and that's my turn.
Okay, I gotta fix your token. Your token is way off for some reason. It's showing 5 and 9. There. It's better. I want to make sure it's also connected to your sheet here. Okay, that should fix it. Yeah, so as you cast Eldritch Blast forward towards the one in front of Gjest, unfortunately it's not anywhere close. Kind of starts to fizzle away a little bit and gets absorbed into the wooden shield that the guy's carrying, doing no damage to him. Celeste.
I'm going to move over here. If you could bring me to the front.
There you go.
I'm going to kneel by Calypso and cast Cure Wounds.
Ooh, nice. Reaching down, extending your hand out, grabbing onto the ankle of the fallen Calypso. Nice healing, too. Nice.
Yeah.
Ah, yes, the powerful heals of the Ranger. Much appreciated.
I mean, it's more than I've ever done.
Imbuing Calypso with a nice... That's
not true. I've healed plenty.
Nice healing.
Have you actually don't remember?
I have. I've kept Cure in the back pocket for silly players in Tomb.
How far did you move to? I'm not going to.
35.
Okay. Yep, you're good. Yeah, reaching down, trying to stay out of the focus of this soldier in front of you. As you reach down, grabbing onto the ankle of Calypso, she immediately begins to feel the oxygen return to her lungs, long, deep breaths as her eyes open back up. She is now alive, but still prone. Gjest.
Is this the only one that's still left alive?
No, within
There's
the room,
two.
there's another one on the other side of the door. You just can't really see it. Like, from where you're standing, you can see, like, the way he's standing, you can see his left hand holding, like, a shield, and you see the corner of the shield from where you're standing.
Alright, she's gonna do a dagger attack. Her sergeant is.
Okay. Reaching for the dagger, jabbing forward. Crit hit. Go and give me that damage. Remember, it's max damage, so it should be a 4. Yeah. It should be a 4, and then you're... Yep. Okay. Go ahead and describe how you just annihilate this guy with a dagger as you jab it into his chest.
She's gonna do the exact same thing that was done to the actual sergeant. Plunge it in there and just like rip it up.
Nice. So grabbing onto your dagger and kind of flipping it around in a very fluid motion, and then like a downward jab as it pierces into his chest. Same exact spot. Like the image of you see the cut into the chest where this the shard bursts through. You jab right into that same exact spot, and as you do, the guy immediately just drops to his knees and collapses, the shield falling onto the ground.
Yes. And she, pulls it out of there, just blood sloshes across the pavement.
Mm-hmm. Begins to pour out onto the cobblestone floor, or the cobblestone road here.
And then her sergeant is going to lift the dagger and point it at the doorway.
Alrighty, so a bit of a taunting motion as you point forward, looking over towards the door, knowing there is still one left. Freddy.
Already. I will step inside if I can. And attack again with my mace. Since my damaging cantrip doesn't do much.
Alrighty.
Let's see if I can actually hit. Woo,
Yeah,
23.
this time you bring the mace around and just bash into him. He reaches up trying to block it with the shield, but it's not enough. It knocks it back into him, dealing 8 bludgeoning damage. This is the first damage of the combat for this individual. Anything else?
Nope, that's my turn.
Alrighty, Calypso, you are now back to life, still laying prone on the ground, but you have Celeste to thank for being alive still.
Calypso's going to kip up onto her feet, look to Celeste. Thanks, cousin. And come in and bring down the 2-hand on him again.
Alrighty.
Or on this one for the first time. There we go.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Go ahead and give me that damage.
Heck.
Some max damage in this.
$20.
Oh, yeah. You watch as you grip on tightly with both hands, bring the longsword down. His focus is completely on Freddy, and then by the time he turns and looks and notices you're swiping down at him, it's too late. It makes solid impact, gashing into his shoulder and begins to cut through. You're able to just aggressively kind of rip it back out. He's still standing, but he almost completely collapses after one hit.
We should probably not kill him, though.
Anything else?
No, I'm done.
All right. Seriously, you watched as the assassin kept running as his turn came around. What would you like to do?
I'm not going to catch up to him. I'm going to walk over here. And then, is he wearing metal armor?
He is wearing leather, almost like scale mail.
So, not metal then.
Correct.
Okay. She's going to reach out with a hand and kind of grab him by the face. And I'm actually, I think for the first time in this campaign, I'm going to spend a hero point.
Ooh.
To add 1d6 to my attack roll, because I don't know if everybody else has noticed, our rolls are terrible in this
My
fight.
rolls have been terrible tonight.
Something that you guys need to make sure you remember, those hero points can be used at really good times, especially times like this where you know you're having bad luck.
So if I do hit and I do kill him, I'm gonna non-lethal this, because I do think we're gonna try to take him down.
Okay.
So this is a unconscious shock.
Alrighty.
Taser shock.
Yeah, that hits.
So 8. Wow, I maxed out damage.
So non-lethal, you watch as he collapses to the ground, falls unconscious, but is still alive.
She kind of shakes her smoldering hand a little, just like, ah. And then she's done.
Alrighty. Let's see. That guy's not doing anything because he's asleep. Vivien, anybody else from this point forward, are you going to attack? Yes, I should just put that.
Nope.
I was gonna just tie him up.
Just tie him up? Okay. Give me a sleight of hand check.
I'm trying to figure out where the assassin.
Yeah, can I go and make a survival check for that?
You can. Yes.
Survival or perception?
You didn't really have a good look at him. Celeste, you weren't close enough to the door when he was there.
Yes, but he's not here now, and I'd like to know where he went.
So yeah, you can, as you wander into the room, you can give me a survival check as you're wandering the room.
Did your ability wear off?
No, it lasts an hour.
But
you should know right where
there's
he
a
is at.
certain range, though, isn't there?
It's like miles for Hunter's Mark.
No, Hunter's Mark doesn't give automatically
It's just
tell him where he
advantage
is.
on perception or survival
Correct.
checks.
Correct. So yeah, you can go into the room, attempt to figure out where he is. At advantage, at 21, as you're looking around, you look, noticing a lot of floor or movement on the floor directly in front of the ladder. The ladder looks a little crooked, as if somebody was rushing up it, trying to escape quickly. But beyond that, kind of look to the others, noticing Circe already knew where the individual went to.
She'll point.
Kind of point up to the north, pointing.
We went out the
started
window.
running off in the distance.
Outside, make my way outside to see if I can see them.
Okay, climbing up the ladder, peeking out the window. As you look off to the north, you see a stir of individuals that are kind of like, oh my god, did you see that guy that just came running through here? But outside of that, you don't actually see where he went to.
Could I use the survival to continue trying to follow him?
Yeah, you can continue to track him if you would like to.
That's my plan.
Okay. Based on your survival, kind of looking down, because obviously this being the desert and the dust kind of carrying everywhere, you're able to kind of look and follow some footprints that do lead you straight north as you make your way outside. You feel like you could continue to follow that for a good ways, as far as like you look forward, and as far as your eyesight can see, you can still see some tracks in the dust here.
I'll join Celeste, and before I leave, I'll tell the rest of the party, don't touch anything. We'll wait for the guards to show.
Seriously points over to the 3 dead guards over there.
Yeah, what I mean, like, just leave him alone. There's not anything we can do for him at this point.
Okay.
Calypso's going to take the time to pull her sister over, and she's just going to, like, give her the once over, make sure she's okay, and then
bleeding profusely out of a stab wound.
Yep, and then I'm going to put all of my lay on hands into her.
Alrighty.
I tie up the prisoner. I got a 20.
Yep. So you successfully. Yep. You successfully reach down. You're able to almost kind of hog tie, but like as he's like laying down, you're trying to gather his arms and legs together, keep him from running. Kind of pull him off to the side. You do notice the individuals who are on the street have already cleared off. Though you're sure there's going to be attention here soon coming towards this house after everything that has now transpired here.
Well, I go to Gjest real quick and I tell her that she should probably change into something less conspicuous, and then I'm going to go find some guards and I'm going to bring them here.
I'm actually going to run off into the direction around the corner. See if I can go find the dude.
So you're going to join with Celeste and Freddy?
Yep.
Okay. So yeah.
I have no spells. I'm fine being on guarding the body duty.
Okay. So we have 2. Are you guys going to wait inside? Do you want to wait outside? How do you want to do that?
Calypso will hang out outside. She's got that badge.
Mm-hmm.
So she's not too worried about our chances this time.
Alrighty. The group proceeding north. As you continue onward, and I'll just go ahead and move you guys up here. Celeste, give me another survival check at advantage.
Okay. 24.
Good. As you're watching, kind of looking through the pattern of people that are still up ahead, you feel very confident in your ability to track where this assassin went to. Kind of look back at the others, noticing again, the individuals are now starting to once again gather back outside. It's drawing a bit of attention to the citizens in the area. You are very confident you can still track them, no matter how long the duration. You have a very keen sense of where they're going.
Also like to offer at this point giving guidance to Celeste.
Okay. So as you're kind of wandering around, placing your hand on Celeste's shoulder, and after she stops and you watch, she kind of pauses for a moment and looks, trying to figure out where she's going. You immediately take that opportunity to cast some guidance, give her a little extra benefit. She's searching. Couple minutes pass. Everybody's still doing their own thing. This is the point where... Go ahead.
Do I find guards?
You do. And they start to accompany you. There are an additional 2 guards that are going to join you and make their way over here, trying to get an idea of what the hell just happened here.
I explain what's going on to them before they arrive on the scene.
Okay. So I'm going to kind of place you guys here and have you deal with your conversation back here at the house. Circe and Calypso, taking a look over these individuals. Anything you would like to do?
I'm gonna look for any anything that identifies them, like a symbol or
Okay.
Their wallet with their license in it, if possible. Home address.
Birth certificate.
Next of kin, maybe. Full details of their nefarious plan signed by everybody involved and the locations they're in of them.
You can give me a history check at disadvantage.
I have a 7.
You have a 7. One second. It looks like a flame. Like you almost want to go to Freddy and be like, "What the fuck, Flaming Fist? What are you doing?" But then you shake your head. No, that's not right. This Flaming Fist isn't green. And you think about it, and you think about it, and you just draw a blank. You're unable to come up with really anything.
I want to imagine she's just kind of mulling over the scene and then does that thing from LA Noire where she squats and then picks something up and then just kind of looks at it. It's nope, that has nothing to do with anything. Puts it back down. So the flame, yeah, I forgot about the flame because I was worried about getting murdered.
And I will show you guys this. 1 second. This is what you see on their shield and their chest plate.
That does look like a hand. I'm just saying. that flaming fist thing might not be too far off.
That's why I was saying, you look at it and you're like, that kind of looks like a fist. Wait a second, hold on.
It all makes sense now.
Hey now, the fist is surrounded by a flame in the flaming fist. It's a fist.
The flaming open palm.
Clearly, because their numbers are dwindling, they're no longer a fist. They're the flaming outstretched hand. Yeah, that makes sense.
It's metaphorical.
Gotta love Taserface.
I do love Taserface. I just made this guy Taserface.
That was the joke, yes.
Mm-hmm. It's a good joke. I liked it. So I can't find anything else off of them.
Correct. As you kind of look over them, you're trying to recall back history, and unfortunately for you, your history of anything outside of Kalido is very limited. And as you're thinking back, you're just unable to come up with anything what this would match to.
I know who can help. And I walk outside and I grab my sister and I drag her in and I point at the symbol because Rin is great at skill checks.
I am good at skill checks. In fact, just to reinforce this and to emphasize that we need to use them more, I'm going to use 1 hero point.
Yay!
Would this be a...
I think you can decide that after the roll, can't you?
Actually,
You can.
pull up the rules.
History or
inspiration.
religion or...
To understand the symbol is history.
Yeah. Alright, I'm going to use a point though.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
Wowie clap.
Apparently this was the one class I fell asleep for.
You remember of all of the discussion of Kai Gladamine, and his connection and following of the blood of Vol. You remember tales of a group of individuals, very, very powerful individuals, that were very close to the Lich Queen, known as the Emerald Claw. They are the pinnacle of fighters and basically militia of the Blood of Vol cult. As soon as you see this and kind of take a moment to catch your breath and take everything in, Circe's like, come here, I can't figure this out, and points directly at it. It immediately snaps into your brain. You remember all of it. You remember the fact that the Emerald Claw is immediately connected to the Lich Queen, and how that was just connected with Kai coming to all of your friends and saying, hey, by the way, this is bad, she's coming. And you immediately just recall everything, as if it's like almost like you're like retelling your life, but retelling the life of everybody else. Like you see it through everybody else's eyes almost.
Yeah, so definitely confirmed Flaming Fists are an evil splinter group of this Emerald Claw.
Wow.
It all makes
Poor
sense.
Freddy.
Poor Freddy.
Oh, time to stab him.
Poor racist cleric organization. But this is serious. I think we need to have Vivien break up with her new boyfriend if he's associated with these people.
Circe gets a sad look on her face. It's gonna break her heart.
Vivien, as you're down here speaking with the guards, what are you telling them?
So we were taught. So I give them a rundown of the whole Sarge thing, like how we were told to investigate the Warforged and all that. I don't want to rehash that, but that's what I do first.
Okay.
And and so Sarge was killed, and we followed who we thought killed him, and we followed them to this house, and some guards joined us, and they're in there, they're dead, and we killed the people who killed them, except for the one assassin who got away. Some of our friends are chasing after him, and we actually kept one alive for questioning, for you guys to question, I guess, because you guys are, the law, and I give them finger guns.
Okay, since you are giving them the finger guns, go ahead and give me a performance check.
And roll attack for Eldritch Blast.
If you roll a 1, it accidentally goes off.
As you point forward and give them like, yeah, they look at you and they're like, we're gonna go investigate this, and immediately start walking over like, yeah, okay, got it. And start walking away. As they walk away,
I just keep going, hey.
As they start...
She walks up, puts her hand on Vivien's shoulder, and just kind of leads her away.
It's fine. Let's go away from here. But as the guards begin to walk forward, approaching Eclipso, seeing the dead guards off in the side, the individual tied up just as Vivien had described, that is where we will end tonight's session.
She definitely caps it off by flashing the badge and official business. We are supposed to be here. We are supposed to be here.
I'm not even supposed to be here today.
And we're definitely not saying we killed anyone. We defended ourselves.
Totally killed people.
I didn't kill anyone.
I knocked someone out.
Mm-hmm. We apprehended somebody.
Yeah, based on tonight's session, I think we're gonna be I think we could probably do at least 2 or 3 more sessions in a row if you guys wanted to keep going.
Nice.
Based on
Let's do it.
The amount of information that I have written and the stories that I have prepared, I think we can continue on. So, in 2 weeks, if you guys are down, we will be back and go ahead and continue this.
Woo.
All right.
Do you mean like 2 or 3 more sessions and we're not playing it anymore, or?
No, 2 or 3 more sessions before I'm caught up with everything that I currently have written.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like I've been writing like a freaking madman for the past 2 weeks. It's been kind of insane. So
I'd like to reiterate, this is exactly not what I was expecting for this session at all.
It turned out pretty good though.
So my biggest, when I was coming up with this scenario, I felt that the twist with having Sarge killed and then immediately all of the civilians look at you as you grab the spear out of the chest was like pretty damning. Like,
Yeah.
And if you think about it, it's incredibly damning because you were just seen at the docks and trying to get the Warforged to come back alive and to cooperate. You were just seen leaving the House Lorandar, trying to work out a deal with them. You were tracking Sarge to begin with the kid. Like, it looks really bad. And then
Not if we're investigating it on an official capacity.
Right.
Yeah.
What we have is the murder weapon, a suspect that we chased down, and people in custody. So, like, if we had left it, my concern was that all of a sudden the murder weapon disappears because these assassins are always one step ahead. Now we have a weapon that we can trace and figure out where it came from and who's using it or supplying it, because
or what it is. Yeah.
because me, out of character, knowing things, I have a suspicion of what it could be, but Calypso has no idea that certain houses are not as good and benevolent as they prop themselves up to be.
Yep.
But you definitely laid some clues that I immediately picked up on and was like, oh, that's suspect.
Yep. And that was part of it too, as I was doing this, I wanted certain things to trigger, especially anybody who's run anything at Eberron. Like, it's honestly, and this isn't a secret, anybody who's done anything at Eberron knows that there is always tension between House Lorandar and House Orin to begin with. And the fact that they share a ward is something here.
Well, even just House Caneth doesn't have a good
House
reputation.
Caneth does not have a good reputation. I mean, they were the developers of the Warforged. And
it wasn't. They were definitely from Theory, right?
They definitely don't have any secret forges and making more Warforged when they're not supposed to. Cough, cough.
Absolutely not. Nope. And I gave you some hints that I think you guys actually missed tonight too, which I'm pretty excited for, because when you figure out those hints, I think it's going to be like a big revelation to you.
Nice. Well, something to look forward to.
Yeah.
Sarge is clearly badass. I mean, he's just killing people left and right.
I mean, apparently, walking through the city and killing people, like,
he's getting killed left and right.
He definitely got killed, but
he definitely got killed, and then he
killing people. Killing people after we got released from jail is definitely the way to go. Yeah,
absolutely, totally. What
hey, I killed no one.
I know.
Yeah,
I did not kill anyone either.
To be fair, at least people saw us standing outside at first, and then immediately getting assaulted first.
It's true, and you guys trailed and followed and turned around and grabbed the guards and did all you could trying to get the guards involved in making sure that the city was safe, and the guards just got slaughtered as soon as they went into this room. And then afterwards they knew. So, and that was the part with this, is as you turned and went into as the guards turned and went into the room, they knew there were people outside. They were waiting. So as soon as the guards died and that door opened, they're like, that's it. We're going after you. Because they knew, like, at that point, they were already caught. There was no hiding it at that point.
Yeah.
Won't you have 3 dead guards in your hands?
Yeah. Yep. And there were tons of witnesses outside. Like, between all of you, the 6 of you in the party, plus the civilians that were wandering around the streets, they knew. Like, they were already fucked. They didn't care at that point. They were just covering their ass. If it meant killing everybody, that's what they were going to do.
But I like being alive.
I legit laughed out loud when you had described how Cersei opened the door and there's just the situation going on.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like, about face, nope. We're just...
I'm good.
That, like, Abe Simpson gif where it's just like, walks in and immediately walks back out.
Alright, so I'm going to end stream. Say bye to stream.
Bye, guys.
Bye, stream.
Thanks for watching.